Welcome to the 2022 local election candidate videos, made possible by a partnership between Collin County Votes, which is an initiative of the Collin County Business Alliance, and the Allen, Frisco, McKinney, and Plano Chambers of Commerce. I'm Leanne Libby with Community Impact Newspaper, and I'm excited to introduce our viewers to Angela Dunford, running for Frisco ISD Place 1. Welcome, Angela.
Hi, thank you so
All right.
much.
Thank you for being here. So we're going to jump right in with the first question. Not everyone understands exactly what a school board trustee roles and responsibilities are. Can you explain to us in your own words what the role entails?
Yeah, sure. So there are 7 trustees in Frisco ISD, and they work as a collective, not as individuals, to kind of just oversee higher level governance. The superintendent, which is essentially the CEO of the district, he reports directly to the board. So that's kind of where they work is through the superintendent to kind of just do some of that higher level directing of the different things that the district is working on, and working specifically on policies that affect the full district, budgeting, things like that.
So talk to us about your top 2 to 3 policy priorities that you'd like to accomplish if elected.
Sure. I think probably the 2 most important things right now for me are listening to parents and listening to teachers. Right now in Frisco, I think a lot of parents are not feeling heard. Part of that is because we cut back on the public speaking time in our board meetings. Part of that is because they feel like they're only shown one option and they're not really able to have much input on different things. So I would say, we need to proactively seek out their input through surveys when we're doing things like rezoning or changing the calendar year or things like that, or that might have a bigger impact on a large number of families, and just kind of let parents feel validated in their concerns. And that also includes having the district acknowledge when, hey, we made a mistake, let's go back, instead of pushing back on parents. I think bringing them in more, and then listening to teachers. As we know, they are absolutely crumbling right now. I've seen a lot of really excellent teachers leave at my own school here in Frisco. So that's not something new this year, but it's been going on for a little while. And I think it's time for us to really stop and make sure that we're giving teachers a voice and allowing them to feel like it's safe to do so, actually, that their input is wanted and that there's not going to be retaliation for them sharing their opinions if it goes against what the district is currently doing.
So we're hearing more and more now about the difficulties around attracting and retaining teachers. What are your thoughts on how to address this issue?
So what I would like to see is, I would love to see an actual teacher advisory committee being created that directly reports to the superintendent, and it would be comprised exclusively of teachers who are there in a volunteer capacity, so they don't have to add something more to their plate if they don't want to. But I think having just be teachers there, as opposed to a mix of half and half teachers in district or something like that, would really create a safe environment for them to be able to relay their feedback. And another thing I'd like to see is that we increase the pay raises year over year for teachers. Right now, a teacher coming in that's just starting with the district versus a teacher that's been there for 10 years. Well, that teacher that's been here for 10 years gets only a 10% pay increase over that full time. And that's just, I think that's not appropriate for what we're trying to achieve here, which is keeping teachers here for long periods of time so that we have more seasoned veteran teachers that are really amazing at their jobs. Those are just a couple of things. I've got a whole lot of ideas, but we probably don't have time to go into all of it.
It's a big topic. Well, so talk about how the pandemic has impacted Frisco ISD, and if elected, how would you work to address those issues?
Sure. So obviously, we hear a lot about learning loss that has happened during the pandemic. And I think that that's not just a soundbite. If you actually talk to teachers, they're saying, wow, I'm shocked at some of the kids that are coming in that were on virtual. The learning loss is just, it's kind of devastating. The gap they're starting to see that wasn't there in previous years. So that's a big impact that we have to continue to deal with from the pandemic. Absolutely. And I think that the way we need to deal with that, honestly, is to just remove things off of teachers' plates. We keep on saying, we're so worried about how these students are doing, so let's do more assessments, pre-assessments, post-assessments, and here's this cool new platform and this and that. Now is not the time to be doing that. Now is the time to be taking things off of teachers' plates as much as possible. Anything that's not absolutely legally required, just about. And so that way teachers are freed up to spend that time with their students, just teaching them, just spending that time one-on-one, or however the teachers see fit to help those kiddos. And then another thing that we've seen from the pandemic, I think, is that we have moved more and more to digital platforms in our district, and that was really helpful for a time, but now it's time to scale back. We've kind of gone overboard on that. Kids in middle and high school are spending more than 5 hours a day on their Chromebooks while in the school day. So they're just staring at a screen. And we need to be focused more on what research shows actually helps them to retain new concepts, to learn those and retain them, which tends to be more using paper, actually, pencil and paper. And we need to be allowing for more peer interactions in the class, more interactions between teacher and student in the classroom. So kind of working on that social component as well. And the Chromebooks kind of get in the way of that.
So what would you like to see the legislature address to help support public education in your district in the next legislative session?
Sure. I think there were a lot of good things that came out of the most recent legislative session. But House Bill 3 had some interesting new things in there. But there are some things I would tweak. So for example, with House Bill 3, one of the things that came out of that, in addition to some of the text alterations, was this thing called Reading Academy. So that's something where teachers that are kinder through third, they actually have to spend all this time on this Reading Academy that basically teaches them how to teach reading to younger students. The problem is it's over 60 hours of training. And a lot of the teachers I've talked to in the elementary level, they've said that was their breaking point. They said, I cannot do this. I cannot add 60 hours of training that's being asked of me outside of the regular school day. They're saying, do this on your own time. It's too much. These teachers need to be trusted to do their jobs. They're professionals. They don't need to be babysat. They already learned how to teach kids how to read. I would repeal that piece of House Bill 3 for sure. And also allow a little more flexibility with House Bill 4545, which, that was a well-intentioned piece of legislation to try to get kids more caught up, like we're talking about, from that learning loss. But again, it's putting more on teachers' plates and a little less flexibility in allowing them to actually do what they do best, which is work with them, be creative in ways that are going to engage that student, because they want those kids to get caught up. They want that. We don't have to force them to want that, So giving a little more leeway and trust to teachers, especially since they're coming out of the pandemic too. This was crazy for them too. Let's give everybody a little grace and be patient with all of this.
So we live in a very diverse area in every sense of the word. Can you talk about how important it is to consider and incorporate diversity in your decisions on the school board?
Absolutely. I think that, this is an interesting thing for me because, I actually voted for Gopal, the incumbent who I'm running against, because I thought, it might be good for example, we have a larger Indian community right now in Frisco than it's been kind of growing over the years. And I thought it might be good for them to have more of a voice, and because there's, uniquenesses with every culture. The problem is I don't feel like he's been a good voice for that community. I feel like we're seeing some different issues that are important to different communities. Like we're seeing these academic slides, with unlimited test retakes that we're allowing in our district, no consequences for late homework, things like that. And I think that what would be more important than maybe just diversity by profile would be diversity of thought. So that it's not necessarily that the board is voting 7-0 on every single item, that the public is able to see that, yeah, we have different opinions. And that's good, because there's people that live here in Frisco that have different opinions. We're a very diverse community, and I think that needs to be better represented on the board, and have trustees that are a little more open-minded and bring different perspectives.
Well, so last question, can you tell us something about the school district that makes you excited about the future for this next generation in our community?
Yeah, there's a lot of good things going on, actually. Um, One of the things that continues to just grow more and more every year is our CTE center. It is amazing the things that they have there. You know, you can study architecture, IT, interior design, culinary arts, so many things. And you can actually get certifications in those programs that are relevant in the professional world. So it's not just a theoretical, oh, this is kind of nice, dip my toes in here. They leave with training that actually is going to be relevant and helpful for them to get hired in those professions. So that's really, really cool. So that gets me excited. I'd love to see that continuing to grow. I'm really excited about this mentorship program that FISD has implemented pretty recently, where we're partnering with just your average community member to be a support person to different students that maybe just need a little extra love, a little guidance, whatever it is. I love that. So that's something else I'm really excited about.
Well, great. Well, Ms. Dunford, thank you so much for taking the time today to join us and allowing the voters the opportunity to hear directly from you on these important issues.
Absolutely. Sure. Thanks so much for taking the time to talk to me.